Hey guys, before we get started, I wanted to mention that today is the last day of celebration, so every $50 you spend, you do receive a free item in the celebration catalog. It is while supplies last. There are a few things that are already sold out, the glimmer paper and the card tin, and I'm sure other things will go pretty quick. I haven't looked on the site to see any updates. So if you are wanting something, you definitely want to go ahead and place an order today. It does end at midnight Mountain Time, so adjust accordingly. Also, today's the last day that you can sign up for Stampin' Up! And receive 2 free stamp sets for free. So like I always tell people, if you're going to place a really big order, you might as well go ahead and get the starter kit, because you get $125 worth of product of your choice for $99. And today, if you sign up, you get 2 additional free stamp sets of your choice. And then after that, any order you place, you'll get 20% off. So it's a really good deal. There's no commitment. You have to make a $300 purchase every quarter, and that can be done with you purchasing items or you selling items. And if you don't meet that quarterly minimum, then no biggie. You get to keep everything you have in your starter kit, and there's absolutely no pressure. There's no pressure from me. I'm pretty low key. I don't harass my team to place orders. You know, this is totally up to them. I support them in whatever they decide, whether it's being a hobbyist or as a business. I'm very low pressure, no pressure. So, you know, let me know if you have any questions. Make sure that if you want to place an order, you do it before the day is over so you can take advantage of the celebration items. And if you have been thinking about signing up for Stampin' Up!, today would be a great day to do that, so you can get those 2 free stamp sets. And it's free shipping, by the way, your starter kit, which to me is incentive enough with shipping cost. So let me know if you have any questions, and we'll go ahead and get started on our project. Today we are bringing back the High Tide stamp set, and I'm going to be doing something a little bit different, and we're going to be making coasters. Now, I just kind of want to put a disclaimer out there. There are various ways to do this. So if you want to do it my way, great. But if you know of a different way, or you have researched it and found a different way, by all means, do it whatever works best for you. This is just how I am doing it. And for those that don't know, you know, this is just an idea. If you're interested, I thought it would be fun to kind of make something different other than a card. And I think this stamp set is perfect for a coaster, and especially as a gift. So, the High Tide stamp set comes from the Occasions catalog. Today is the Occasions catalog runs through the 31st, May 31st. So you have until May 31st to purchase any of these products. We don't know yet what is going to retire and what's going to carry through to the annual catalog. So today you're going to need the High Tide stamp set. You're going to need basic black ink. If you have basic gray, you can use that as well, but you want to choose an archival ink. Now, when I was kind of testing this out, I tried my StazOn ink, because I'm like, well, that should work. But it did not work for me. It can be a couple things. Either my StazOn ink is drying out, it's several months old, and I really don't use it because it is such a potent ink. I prefer not to use it. Or it could be the type of tile I'm using. Now, these tiles, I used to make coasters with some pattern paper. And these tiles are the cheapo tiles that you can get at Lowe's, Home Depot, any home improvement store. So they are the shiny, and they're like 13 cents a piece. So I have a ton of these when I went through my little coaster making days. So this is what I'm using. I have seen on Pinterest people using a matte finish tile, a tile that has a little bit of texture. So it's just whatever you want. 13 cents, I'm okay with messing it up. So I thought I would try this, and it worked out really well. There's just a few things you have to be careful with, and I'll explain that later. So you will need a tile of your choice. This is just a bathroom tile, the shiny one, the cheapest one you can find at a home improvement store. So you'll need that. You will also need, because the bottom of the tile kind of looks a little rough, so you will need something to cover it up. You can use felt. I've seen people use felt squares, but when I was making coasters, I would sell them. So I would get the cork, and I got it in a roll, and then I cut it according to size to fit my coaster. I have to tell you, my advice would be don't get it in the roll, because it's a pain in the you-know-what to adhere because it is rolled. If you want to spend a week having something heavy on it to hopefully flatten it out, go for it, but I would stay away from the roll. You can also get little circular cork that you could stick in the corners. That works fine. I thought this full coverage. I just think this has a nice finished look. Cork is not cheap. To me, it's not cheap. So, you know, it's up to you. The roll worked fine, but a lot of the times I would have crumbling issues, and it just was kind of a pain. So, you know, it's up to you. Do whatever, you know, if you don't mind putting a little more effort into it, get this. But just to kind of warn you, keep that in mind. And you will need some adhesives and clear acrylic gloss coat. So I have a couple here. I have a clear acrylic sealer, because you definitely want to seal your coasters. And then I have this one also. This is in matte, and this is in gloss. So if you want your coasters to be shiny, get the gloss. If you want a matte finish, get the matte. This one here I purchased at Hobby Lobby. It's $5.99, and it's 11 ounces, and it goes pretty far. You know, you can put multiple coats on it. The more multiple coats you put on it, the better it will be sealed, you know, from wet drinks, which is nice. You don't want your ink to get wet and then smear all over the place. So it is the Treehouse Studio Clear Acrylic from Hobby Lobby. It was $5.99. If you use a coupon, you get 40% off that. I don't remember where I got this. It was either Michael's or Hobby Lobby, but it's Patricia Nimmock's Clear Acrylic Sealer. Same thing, it's just in a different finish. Also, this is just an option. With your cork, you can use glue gun, which if you get the rolled cork, I would probably suggest using glue gun and try it out. Or you can get spray adhesive. This stuff is extremely sticky, extremely messy. I mean, my can is disgusting. This is also Treehouse Studios. I got it from Hobby Lobby. It's great, but it's extremely sticky. So for my purposes in this video, I will be using my hot glue gun, but I just wanted to show you that these are available to use. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Today I'm only going to make, and this is going to be over 2 days, so I'm actually filming this Thursday, and then you will see it Friday. I'm going to make 3 coasters with you, and this will be my 4th. So I just used, obviously, the stamp set with the black, basic black archival ink, and I stamped my image. And, you know, it's not perfect. This is slightly crooked, but, you know, it's okay. With these shiny tiles, and sorry for my very inky fingers. I've been shooting several videos today. With these shiny inky tiles, you have to be very careful when stamping, because any slight movement and it shifts. And I did get a little bit of shifting. Let's see if this focuses. You can't really tell, but there is a slight like blur effect to the stamp. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, now what you can do is you can clean your tiles with alcohol if you want. This is a smooth surface, nothing really sticks to it, so mine are already clean. I'm going to take my basic black. All right, for my stamp, I'm first going to take the sand, and I'm going to ink it up the best way I can, you know, the best I can. There's no guarantee this is going to be a perfect image. So the nice thing about these tiles, the cheap ones that are glossy and have that shine, is you can wipe it right off and start over if you don't like the way it turned out. And an important thing is that when you stamp, try not to move your stamp like I was. But thankfully, the type of stamp that is kind of forgiving. It's not going to be noticeable if you shift it a little. It's supposed to look a little rough. Okay, next I'm going to take my lighthouse, and I am not using this one. I am just using this stamp because we're doing it all in one color, and so it's really, there's no point in doing the 2 layers because this looks fine. And the more ink layers, the longer it's going to take to dry. So, okay, not perfect, but we're going to go with it. After all, this is homemade. And like I said, you know, if you want to really try and do a really good job on this and not risk being kind of sloppy like me, get a different tile and try it out. It may work. I'm going to take my sentiment and go ahead and stamp that in the corner here. Try my best not to move. So I messed up on my sentiment. So what you can do is I take a baby wipe and I'm just going to wipe this. And then I'm going to dry it, making sure not to touch my other part of the stamp, and we'll try again. Okay. So I'm going to put this one aside. I'm not going to add the moon or the sun. Put that aside. And I'll bring in my other one. And I'm going to take my sand again. And then I'm taking the sand, the smaller sand piece, and I'm going to ink that and kind of close it in. And if this is more, you know what, actually this is probably better because you have more control over the image. Okay, then we're going to, I'm going to take my birds. My birds. And then I'm going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment. That, perfect, finally. 3rd time's a charm. So we're going to put that one aside, and then I'm going to bring in this one. All right, for my final one, I'm taking the water stamp, and I'm just going to stamp across the bottom here. And then I'm going to take my sentiment so I make sure I have room for it. Beautiful. And then I wanted to take the birds in flight. Okay. And then maybe the moon. If not, we can always wipe it off. That looks okay. The good thing, pros about the cheap tiles that are slick, is that if you mess up, it's real easy to wipe up. Cons is it's a little bit harder to stamp on, but like I said in the beginning, do what's best for you. I'm just here to give you an idea that I thought was neat, and plus since I had all these tiles, I thought I would go ahead and show you guys an alternative project. I think this would make a great gift for Mother's Day coming up, Father's Day, which I may give these to my dad because he does like lighthouses. So what you want to do after you stamp your images is let them dry overnight. They are extremely wet. Give it at least 24 hours and do a finger test and see if they are dry. I did do this one earlier this week, and overnight was perfectly fine. And then I will show you what you will do after you let them dry overnight. All right, so it is the next day, and I have sprayed my tiles with a clear acrylic coat. And I went ahead and used the gloss coat. These are glossy tiles. I went ahead and kept them glossy. And like I showed you yesterday, you can get matte. And well, I say yesterday, it was my yesterday. You're still watching the same video. But you can get matte. So what I've done is I let the ink dry overnight. And then this morning, I sprayed them with a couple coats. You can do as many as you like. But I just did two coats, and two generous coats of the clear acrylic gloss coating. Okay, and make sure your towels are clean, because I sprayed mine, and then this one in particular had little fuzzies. So there are little fuzzies in here forever, but you know, live and learn. So make sure they're clean before you spray them. Wherever they're sitting, maybe put put something over it to protect it from dust while they dry. But let them dry overnight, the ink, the archival ink we stamped, and then spray them with your clear coating and let that dry. You can let that dry overnight as well. I let mine dry for about 4 hours. And that worked out perfectly. So next will be your cork, or whatever you want to use for your backing. So I'm going to do 2 with you, and then I did 2 before I started filming. So here's what it looks like. Like I said earlier, I like the full coverage of the cork. It just gives it a finished, little bit, not classier, but just a little bit more finished look. I've seen people use felt as well. So, like I said, whatever you prefer. Okay, so I have a surface that if it gets glue on it, it will come off easily. And you have your hot glue gun and your cork pieces. Now, you want to make sure on your hot glue gun that it is hot, because I'm so impatient. I started doing a backing earlier, and before I got it down, it was already dry because it wasn't hot enough. So of course I just peeled this right off, and I waited patiently like I should. And once your glue is hot, if you work really fast and then slap this on your tile, it will come out perfectly, because then the glue is still hot, so it's liquidy, and it will smush down and adhere your cork to your tile, because your tile, if you get these tiles, is not a smooth surface, so it can be a little tricky. So let's go ahead and put these two together. So I'm just going to take my cork piece, and I'm going to quickly do the edges. And you see how my cork is curved? I want to make sure that that is face down, so it loses that curve. There's no chance of it popping back up. Quickly and carefully flip that over on your tile, press down. If you've been burned by a glue gun, you definitely know to be careful. It is not fun. So I press that down to make sure it is flat, kind of check the edges, and then I use the weight of the tile to set it down, and then I'll let it dry. And then once it's done, I will go over with a rag and clean some of this up a little bit. The cork, like I said, it can crumble real easily, and it is kind of flaky. So it's not the funnest thing to work with, but I like the look. So let's go ahead and do this one. And of course, this can be your first step if you want, if you're just starting with the tile. I like to make it my last step just in case I totally mess up on the tile and it gets tossed. I'm not tossing a piece of cork because, like I said, the cork is not cheap. I don't think so, for what it is. All right. And then I'll do that. So like I said, I will give these a nice cleaning once they are dry. But that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this project and found some inspiration to maybe try something like this on your own. I think this would make a great gift. Once they're done and complete, stack them on each other, tie a ribbon around it, and present it to someone. I think it would be really nice. But all supplies I used will be listed below. And if you have any questions, let me know. And remember, you definitely want to, if you can, take advantage of the last day of celebration today. Every $50 you spend, you get a free item while supplies last. I suspect those supplies will go pretty quick throughout the day. And if you want to sign up and join my team, you definitely want to do that today because you do get those 2 free additional stamp sets. So let me know if you have any questions, and I'll catch you next time.